Hey there, seniors. So we are getting close to crunch time when it comes to recommendation letters. So I wanted to record a quick video taking you through the steps of how to formally submit a recommendation letter request in Naviance. Now remember, at the end of last year, your junior year, we all met together and I walked you through how you needed to reach out to the teachers that you were asking for recommendation letters. I told you to email them politely, send them your resume, tell them why you chose them and why you think they would be a great teacher to write this letter for you, what you felt like you were, what your strengths were in their particular subject area, all of that kind of stuff. But then I also mentioned that you need to formally request those recommendation letters via Naviance. Now, many of you, most of you, have already done that, but there are still some people who are straggling a bit and haven't gotten around to that step. So I wanted to make sure and walk you through, just show you firsthand how you go about doing that. And it is in your best interest to do this as soon as possible. Here's why. Your teachers are getting lots of requests for recommendation letters, and they need to make sure they have plenty of time to write you the best recommendation letter they possibly can. If you do not request your recommendation letters through Naviance in a really timely fashion, then that may result in that teacher rushing a bit too much to get that rec letter done on time. You want to make sure that you give them plenty of advanced warning so that things don't slip through the cracks. And you guys know how busy we all are. You guys are busy, your teachers are busy, everyone is super busy. They are very well not going to remember that email from last school year that, hey, you know what? Joe told me that I needed to write a letter for him. They will have forgotten by now. Okay, so when you log in to Naviance, remember that you always log into Naviance through the option of logging in with Clever. Don't type in your email address and password. Instead, use the Clever option. And then once you're logged in, it'll take you to your dashboard, which should look something like this. Requesting a rec letter is very, very simple. So you're going to come up to colleges, and then you're going to go over here under the Apply to College heading. You're going to click Letters of Recommendation. And it's going to take you to a screen that looks like this. Now, unfortunately, this is a demo account, and so my screen will not look exactly like your screen. Your screen will have a blue Add Request or Submit Request or something along those lines. There will be a little button here and then also another little button there. You can click on either one, it does not matter. So you're going to click on that to add your request. You are going to, in this general area of the screen, have a drop-down menu. You're going to click that drop-down menu and you will see the names of all of the faculty members here at Christ Episcopal who you could get a recommendation letter for. You're going to click on that person's name, and then it's going to ask you, do you want a general recommendation or a specific recommendation? The vast majority of you are just going to click on the general recommendation. Now, what that means is that teacher's recommendation letter will go to every school on your list that accepts recommendation letters. Most schools do accept at least one, usually two recommendation letters. Occasionally, you will have schools that will accept three. Every now and then, like LSU, for example, will accept up to four. There's no reason why you need to do four, and a lot of students would have trouble finding four teachers that they felt like would write them a really great recommendation letter. So really two is just fine unless there is a school on your list that requires more than two. Obviously, if there is a school that requires three, then you'll need to choose a third teacher. But most of you, you're just going to request two letters. You're going to fill out a separate request for each letter. So when you click General, that teacher's recommendation letter will go to every school on your list that accepts recommendation letters. If you choose the specific option, That means you will then have to say which schools you want that particular teacher's rec letter to go to. And this is why you might want to use something like that. Let's say that all of the schools on your list require 2 recommendation letters except for one. One school requires 3 recommendation letters. Or maybe it doesn't require 3, maybe it just allows 3. But it's a school that you really, really want to get into. And so if they allow you to send 3, you're like, you know what, I think for this school, I think it's worth sending 3. Well, for the third person that you ask, you don't need to send that rec letter to every one of your schools because most of your schools are only going to accept 2. For that particular teacher's rec letter, you could do specific, and then you could tell Naviance, okay, which school is it that you want us to send this particular teacher's letter to? Does that make sense? Hopefully that makes sense. Once you have done that, there'll also be a little text box at the bottom of this screen. It'll be kind of down here. And it'll say something along the lines of, send your teacher a little message reminding them about, what it is that sets you apart or what your strengths were in that subject area. This is just a spot for you to send them a kind and respectful message saying, thank you so much for agreeing to write a rec letter for me. I really appreciate it. If you have any questions, please let me know. I'm happy to email you my resume or to sit down one-on-one and talk about what I feel my best strengths were in your class. It doesn't have to be long, just a couple of sentences thanking them for their willingness to write a rec letter for you, and then you send that along. You repeat that for each rec letter that you are requesting, and then you're done. On your teacher's end, that request means that they will get notifications from Naviance that, hey, you have this student who needs this letter and it's going to these schools, and the most important part, here are the students' deadlines. That's really important. Some of you who are maybe doing early action or early decision for some of your schools, the deadlines are coming up in about 2.5 weeks for those that have deadlines for October 15th. Some early action and early decision schools, their deadlines are November 1st. So I know it might seem like, oh, well, 2.5, 3 weeks, that's plenty of time to write a rec letter. You have to keep in mind how busy your teachers are, so you want to make sure and get those rec letter requests in as soon as possible. Now, if you have any questions, of course, or if you run into any trouble, you know where to find me. I'm always happy to help. And in the meantime, I hope you have a great time doing these wonderful college applications. Have a good one. See you next time.